Hey, welcome in for another Tony Talking Trash about music here this evening. Today I'm going to do a review of a new record. Remember to smash the like button for us. You got to help us out, guys. Smash the like button, subscribe to the podcast. Tonight we're going to review an album by one of my favorite bands that we haven't touched yet on. I do have them in the queue for something in the future. I'm talking about that great Anglo-French band Stereolab between Tim Gain, the guitar player, Letitia Sadier, just fantastic artists. They were husband and wife, did divorce, complicated things a little bit. I'm surprised with this new record coming out. You know what happened was Friday we were delivering our record into Baltimore Friday morning. We're taking it down to Soundgarden, the big station down there, and I didn't realize Soundgarden was where Record Store Day started in the whole United States. That was the first gathering to get it together happened at Soundgarden down there. It doesn't surprise me. It's a great place. We used to play down there. I used to play at Max's on Broadway, which is just right around the corner from that in Fells Point. What a great place. We always did so well there. And they've always done well with our records too. So we took our records down there. And I saw Listening Party, Stereolab, and I'm thinking, oh my God. Last thing I know, Letitia played at some coffee house or something up near the 930 Club, somewhere in extreme northwest there. But yeah, I was surprised to see that. And they're back. And some of the things that we'll talk about this more in their deal. And this is going to be a review of their new record, Instant Holograms on Metal Film, which is about as typical of us. Doesn't it sound like a Stereolab title? I mean, it just does. You've got these same things. They've got the Motoric thing happen, so they got this krautrock thing happening. They've got the Velvet Underground thing happening. And they're really, really good about mixing sounds. And I think they were a very innovative band. The one thing that I like, this record, continues the surrealist and strange melding together of reality. And so it's kind of some of the thing Mark Smith did real well, too. Melding the reality of things to uh, surreal things. And I think they're really good. And, of course, Letitia being the keyboard player, mostly the singer. They originally, 1993, they got the high. Shauna O'Hagan played for a short while there. The thing of it is there was a bunch of bands before, but they started off with like music for the Amherst Body Study Center. This was an EP. Switched on Volume 2. You see some of those early ones. And one of the problems is that they Mary Hansen, one of the members of the band, who really provided a lot of the counterpoint for Letitia's stuff in some of the later records, which I love, like Dots and Loops and Sound Dust. I think that's their peak, as far as I'm concerned. So you can probably tell where I'm going to go with part of this, but it's just something that was just just awful. And so I was happy. And you will see, one of the things I'll tell you about this record is the use of the way they used to do the Letitia Mary vocals, like one of bum ba da da bum ba da da, the second voice coming under, that returns in a lot of these songs, except it's not done in the same one. Some sounds like a girl, sounds a little eerily like Mary. And others, clearly is Tim or somebody else. They're these men, because they're going to have to play that stuff live. But let's get into this record. I am a fan. I'm a fan of the band. Always was. Probably started to pick up about Mars Audiac about that time, mid-90s. And of course, love Ketchup, Dots and Loops, Cobra, and Sound Dust, man. Wow. Now, the things they had after that, Margarine Eclipse, Chemical Chords, Not Music, those to me seem more, I don't think there's anything really in the sound of those other than just perhaps in my mind. And maybe I don't understand what's, the subtleties of what's happening. And I followed some of Letitia's solo music too at the same time. No, didn't keep up with Tim too awful much, but some of these compilation records, they have a bunch of them too. And, they're all through, but the new one, 2025, is the first one in 15 years. I mean, they Chemical Chords, Margarine Eclipse was the first one after Mary. To me, a little bit of a downturn, still not bad, but then Chemical Chords and Not Music to me seemed to my ear, seemed like the same band, but with not as much power. The great thing about instant holograms is right off the bat, you can tell that some of the spirit's back, and it maintains itself, in my opinion, through most of what would be the first side A of the record, and I'm talking about uh, the beginning. I forget what they call is it mystical plusions or something, and then aerial troubles, which to me is a great sound. The first side of this record, I think this record is front loaded, in my opinion. You've got you've got the Mary echo thing coming back, has the counter riffs going, has the revision of the theme as it goes through here. The outro has this beautiful ARP sound on it that you can really realize when you hear that Stereolab has truly created their own sound, because it's it. And then once you got this one, melody is a wound is a fabulous one of those multi-part things like you had on Sound Dust, you had on those, where you have this first thing, you have the minor major thing. It's a beautiful little riff there at the beginning of the song, which does the little trick where you expect it to resolve in a minor, it resolves in the major or in the bottom. They do that a lot. They've done that a lot. There's a beautiful flange part in the second part of that song. Once again, this uh, melody is a wound is a multi-part thing, and then the third one, it fades back in the motor, it comes in, and it's back, kind of harkens back to the early stuff. It's kind of a sniff back of the early stuff. Then you get into the fourth song, Immortal Hands, a completely different sound, almost an acoustic sound. Almost like, I know that Dino and I talked about the transition of talk from electronic to acoustic. It's almost that drastic of a thing. You've got a nice 6/8 sliding beat, the way that they love to use that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, jazzy thing. Mallets, beautiful chord changes. The chord changes are gorgeous in the front of that. Different textures, horns and strings, very different, man. The second part of it, the pace changes, and it's all instrumental. Celeste at the end, these low floating things, very different. So Immortal Hands is different. Number 5 is called Varoma F transistor. You've got you've got this arp sound, arpeggiated lines. And the great thing about this to me, this is a track on number 5 here, where Tim's glassy type guitar that you've heard before really, really works. A beautiful flangey reflecting pool type of a sound that they get, and they're always so great about their production and stuff. The thing that blows your mind is when you see some of the lives, and I've never seen them in person live. I've supposed to go before, never did in DC. Stupid, but hopefully I'll get to it this year if they come back around. But anyway, beautiful song. That's good. Then number 6 is kind of a vocal sound. La Force. It sounds like it's slow. Nice arrangements, almost like big band like. I don't know if that's coming from Letitia's corner or from that. And then the double time, the double time part of it, which is really beautiful in 6, is you get these Beach Boys sunflowerish type voices that come, the backing vocals in the second part of that, which is really, really nice. And then on number 7, Electrified Teeny Bop. Old sound, they use this 8-bit sound. I was riding in the car with my son when I'm listening to it one of the times, and I said, well, that's 8-bit sound. So that's what he's talking about. Very lo-fi. It's flangy, mid-rangey, but, it's got a nice slow burn to it. But to me, it's I would like to hear it in full range out of the 8-bit thing, which if they play it live, it probably will be. And number 8 of all the ones, Transmuted Matter here sounds like a Letitia solo record to me. I mean, it sounds like it could be applied right off the beginning of it does. It almost has like an Arabic kind of a background, Sherazade type of a feel to it in the back of it, the way it's a mystery that it's both. And then it lightens up a little bit, and it gets better as it lightens up. I like the popping part at the end where the things are popping out, the sounds. Very, very interesting sounds there. Number nine, SM Plastic Creeping Eruption. To me is a one where I just, I hear that it's a high, it's an ambitious piece. I just don't hear it reaching the heights. It's kind of like some of the older, instrumental stuff that they did during some of the peak times of like random bursts and that period. It just doesn't sound to me. It's just not. I maybe hasn't hit me yet. Not one of my favorites on that. Then if there's two parts to the number 10 track. If you remember, I forgot how to dream. The first part's got this beautiful Pet Sounds-ish type atmosphere that's just beautiful. Jazzy at the end as it goes out, but all the effects on the stuff are just beautiful. And then you've got the Mary thing going on, but this time you got the male echoing voice. So I guess that's what's going to happen with that. But yeah, then there's a flutish instrumental thing, flashes from everywhere. To me, it's not, surprisingly, it's not, the melody to me and the song is not that attractive. And I've listened to it 2 or 3 times waiting for it to hit me. Very synth 60s sound, very good as far as the arrangements goes. But to me, this is one that fell flat. Number 12, next to the penultimate song on the record, Color Television. You got this aging old sound that you have, but I mean, it's to match up. It's to tell lyrically there's symmetry between the sound and the thing. I'm not crazy again about the melody. I don't think it's one of the best things, and that's what I want to say at this point. I think if you look at tracks about track 9, track 11, and track 12, I don't see I don't see the melodies just don't stick with me like they did in the earlier stuff. So to me, that's kind of where this falls down. And then if you remember part 2, the thing ends with the ARP synthesizer. You've got the same type of sound that you had, from the beginning, mystical plosives or whatever they call it. Look, I'm glad they're making music. I think those first batch, all in all, to sum this up, I know this went on a bit long. I love the beginning. The first few songs are really, really good. If you go through tracks 1 through 4, I really love it. Some of the stuff moves in. If you remember, I Forgot to Dream. I do think some of the middle parts aren't don't flash as much as they do, and then of course, like I said, flashes from everywhere. As in Plastic Creeping Eruption. And I said Transmuted Matter sounds like it belongs really on Letitia's record, on one of those records they have. I have five or six of her solo records. I probably have them all, actually. Maybe not 5 or 6, but I got at least 4. I think I got 5 for sure. But anyway, yeah, so what do I say about this? I'm glad they're back together. Is it great? It's not something I'm going to jump up and down and say this is Sound Dust or Thoughts and Loops Part 2. It's not. It's well beneath that. It's can you compare it? I think the heights of it, I think the heights of the record are better than some of the later discography. If you're talking about Chemical Chords, Not Music, Margarine. Yeah, I think the better songs on Holograms are at the beginning of it is as good as it belongs in the same thing as Cobra, Dots and Loops, and Sound Dust, which to me, that's kind of their peak, musically their peak. Because I know Morricone had a big influence on Sound Dust, and Jim O'Rourke was producing this. This record, as we have now here, is it's Mystical Plosives and Electrified Teeny Bop. Tim did it. The rest of them they did together. That's kind of how it works, and assuming that I don't see producer's credit on this record, so I'm looking at this and seeing who they got, and I don't see anybody really production this. I've got Letitia, Tim, Andy Ramsey on drums, of course, Joe Watson, and Xavier Munoz is bass and vocals, and I guess mixing. I guess all these guys, they put mixing on what they do, so I guess they're entitled. They do their own thing. They got Cooper Crane and some of these other. So Marie Merlet may be the one that's doing the Mary vocals on the early song. I know there was a female voice and it sounded high. It wasn't her. But anyway, yeah, am I glad they're going? Yes, I'm glad. If they're going to come out again, and wonderful. I do. I like this record. It's probably going to grow on me some, but right now I wouldn't put it in the great ones. I put it somewhere in the middle of the pack, somewhere around Margarine, Eclipse, or I don't want to go with some of the earlier ones because I think that it's kind of hard to do that. But I think chemical chords on this are about on the same level. Better than not music, I think. So yeah, man. I mean, I think they got it together. Of course, you know the early going records. We'll talk about that when we rate all the records. But anyway, that's my rating of the new record. Put it up there, Joe. Show it to him. It's probably been up here the whole time. But anyway, this is the new Stereolab record, Instant Holograms on Metal Film, recommended to the already acclaimed and that like the sound. I think it's probably going to grow on us some, but it does sound like they're trying, at least in the middle of this record, to do something different. And it may at times sound like they're trying a bit too hard to get away from what they naturally are, which to me fell into the nice groove at the beginning of this record. If you look at the first few tracks, to me, I think that's the peak. Towards the end, you know, that if you remember, I forgot how to dream. That's a highlight of it too. So anyway, thanks a lot for hanging out. Hit the like button, please. Leave your thoughts on the record below. 1 to 5 stars, what am I going to say? Three stars. That's what I would say. Right in the middle. Good stuff. Some stuff I don't like quite as much. Anyway, thanks a lot, you guys. Leave your thoughts below. I'm always happy to see him back out, though. Happy that there's another Stereolab record, and you know, I'll probably like it better as time goes on, as the last few have been that way, kind of, you know, with me. So ever since Mary's been gone, they're kind of more of a growers with me, I guess. I don't take as quickly to them as I did before. But anyway, shut up about it. Thanks, you guys. This is the new record once again, Instant Holograms on Metal Film by who else? Stereolab. Thanks a lot. Have a good evening.